48 hours ago here on the channel, I made a video for you all titled Crypto Alert, Be Very Careful the Next 2 to 3 Days. And in that video, what I pointed out was the fact that Bitcoin's price had just put in a massive wick after trying to break above the previous all-time high. And I said, listen, when something like this happens, it is a warning signal that this is a major zone of resistance that is extremely strong that could push the price of Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market down basically at any given moment. And so the next 2 to 3 days, you need to be very careful because some sort of pullback could be on the way. Well, just 2 days exactly later, we have now seen that pullback happen. Bitcoin's price has dropped all the way back to $121,000 and is currently retracing that move the exact way that I told you it very well might have. Now, you may be thinking, Tyler, why are you making this video showing off and flexing and telling us I told you so, rubbing it in our face? You got me wrong. That's not what I'm doing here. The reason I'm making this video is to, one, kind of show like, hey, we got this call, kind of called this correctly in some capacity. But two, more to show you, especially if you are someone that is freaking out, that what is happening right now actually isn't all that scary. Matter of fact, it's very normal. And it's very common, especially in a situation like this. And it's so common, it's so normal that we kind of figured it would happen. You see, Twitter is making this pullback that we're seeing right now out to be this big scary thing that means the end of the bull market, like they've done a million times over the last 6 months. But the truth is, this happens so frequently that again, we kind of figured that it might happen, and I told you that it might happen. And so I wanted to make today's video more to kind of show you, hey, listen, this isn't as big of a deal or scary, terrible thing as you may think. It happens rather frequently, and we kind of figured that it would. Now, you may be wondering, okay, well, what is happening? Why is this happening? Why is the crypto market pulling back? And it all has to do with two core components. Component number one is the fundamental side of technical analysis, which just goes to say that, listen, the bulls, the people who are buying, the people who are pushing the price up, they got, they made a lot of progress. They pushed not only from, 108,000 to 126,000, but they pushed up past this high. They pushed up past the golden zone. And for a short amount of time, they actually pushed up past the all-time high. So they expended a lot of bullish energy to try to get the price up towards some of these levels. So naturally, when you run into a major zone of resistance, fundamentally, it's no surprise to see some sort of pullback to the downside and a bit of a rejection or a cool down, in other words, whenever you do see this big move happen. So fundamentally speaking, this is a normal thing that occurs. But if we're going to look at this from more of a dynamic perspective, I think it's more intertwined with the idea that there's a lot of manipulation going on. Because not only is this a massive zone of resistance, but there were a lot of people who were betting way too big with way too much leverage. I went actually in this video and showed you this chart and I said, listen, look at the sheer amount of liquidations that are below us right now. You don't think these lizard people are looking at these liquidations down here and wanting to liquidate those people, wanting to take their crypto from them? Of course they are. And at any given point, if they just push this price down a little bit, they're going to liquidate those greedy traders, which is what they are, and force those people out the market. And that's exactly what happened. We look at the 24-hour liquidation data. There has now been over nearly $400 million worth of long traders liquidated just within the last 24 hours, a total of nearly 600 million total traders liquidated within the last 24 hours, with 157 million of that being just in the last 1 hour. So all of those liquidations that we were talking about are now occurring. And so that's all that this is. It is a general rejection off a massive zone of resistance that's being fueled by liquidation and manipulation. It is what it is. And going forward, what crypto is going to attempt to do is come back down to some of these lower levels, which could, of course, start right here. Bitcoin could start at $120.7 thousand and try to find some support. And if that fails, guess what? It comes back to the bottom side of the golden zone, which also aligns with this previous resistance right here. And it'll try to find some support around 117. And if that fails, well, guess what? It's going to come back down to this descending channel and try to find some support there. That's all it's doing. Bitcoin just got rejected off of a massive level of resistance. Now the bulls are going to let this price retreat a little bit, try to come back down to a foundational level that could provide enough bullish support to push the price back towards the upside. That's all that this is. I'm not concerned, worried, or scared of this in the slightest. It's normal, and it is in many ways expected, which is why I made this video for you all just a couple days ago, okay? So I don't want you to be freaking out. I don't want you to be worried. I don't want you to be panicking. Let this thing do what it's going to do. Let this pullback continue a little bit. Let it liquidate all of these traders. Let's get them out the market, and then we'll make our move from there. You just have to be willing to go against the grain consistently. And so look, if Bitcoin's price drops down to say 114K, I'm probably going to buy some with the profit we took just a couple days ago. Because don't forget, guys, whenever I told you guys that we were going to be doing a little bit of when I told you, or not that we're going to do a little bit of anything, but whenever I told you guys to be careful, I also told you I was going to go in and I was going to take some profit off the table. So what did we do? We went in and we took some profit off of Bitcoin, for example. This was just a day and a half ago at $125,000, closed down 5% of the total Bitcoin position. Guys, that was right here. This is when we took that profits. So you got to be willing to sell when everybody else is buying. You got to be willing to buy when everyone else is selling. And so if Bitcoin's price continues down towards these lower levels, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy some. Just like earlier when BNB's price was absolutely ripping towards the upside at 135,000 or sorry, 1,350 roughly dollars or so. What did I do? I went and I took some profits off the table. Why? Because everyone's been buying BNB, so that's when I start to sell. And so you can't be scared of these situations. You have to understand that a red day presents an opportunity to buy if you follow dynamic holding strategy, which is what I do. And that's what's made me profitable consistently year after year here in the world of crypto. So this is not a big deal. It's not scary. It's not worrying. Bitcoin in the crypto market is looking to try to find some support, to try to use that support to continue to the upside. And I think it's going to find some success in doing that. And I'll keep documenting that journey as it all keeps playing out. And I will let you know if you do want to watch and see any of the moves that I'm making in my portfolio, such as when I'm buying and selling my Bitcoin. For example, you can see my BNB position was up $31,000 and I closed down some of it today. And matter of fact, they knew before I even told my team that I was taking profit from my BNB position. So you can check out the link to our crypto school. It is down below. I teach about my strategy and so do the coaches, and you can see trade signals, all that good stuff. Check out the link down below. Okay. The other thing I will let you know is if you want to see a little bit more as to what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis, one thing I forgot to announce here on the channel is that my first vlog is now live over on my second channel, which you can go see how I day-to-day run my YouTube channel, my businesses, my operations, my teams, my real estate investing, and all that stuff. That's available down in the link down below as well. So check out all those things. Stop freaking out. Stop worrying. This is normal. We figured it would happen. Now it's happening. Let's let it play out. I'll update you as it does play out. And I hope you guys are having an absolutely fantastic Tuesday. And I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.